I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do.
And welcome to your Newsmax Daily for Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. 15 days until Christmas, 14 shopping days for you, 21 days until the end of the year. President Trump talking economic achievements and much more in Pocono, Pennsylvania last night.
We gave you the biggest tax cut ever in the first term. We then gave you, with the great big beautiful deal, which is phenomenal, we gave you something that's even better than we did. We gave you an extension of the biggest tax cuts and the biggest tax cuts ever, even bigger than the first term. And that's one of the reasons that your 401ks are through the roof. It's one of the reasons that the stock market is at the highest point. So rent prices are down, dairy prices are coming down very strongly. The cost of Thanksgiving turkeys was down by 33% compared to the Biden era. You know what you did during the Biden era for Thanksgiving? You said, oh my God, this is terrible. It was a rotten Thanksgiving. And Walmart, I thank them. You know, they came out with a big, like sort of a numbers thing, a chart, and they had it 25% less. So that's pretty good. A Thanksgiving meal with all of the trimmings is 25% less under Trump than it was a year ago under Biden. That's a good start. We're bringing it down, and we're coming down more. We're coming down a lot more.
President Trump in cold Pennsylvania last night, the first of several swing states he's expected to visit, touting the economy, according to White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, who you will hear from in just a moment. First, this is Pennsylvania's Democrat Governor Josh Shapiro ahead of Trump's visit.
The American people are seeing prices go up. They're feeling it. They know that money's being taken out of their bank accounts for this more money's being taken out for the same amount of stuff maybe they got before. They know they're worried that they're about to lose their health care. And to Michael's question before, they're also maybe either trapped in a housing situation that's not ideal for them, or they can't get housing. No matter how much bluster or rhetoric the president shows up in northeastern Pennsylvania with tomorrow night, it's not going to change where the American people are right now.
Except Donald Trump did win Monroe County, which is the county that he's going to tonight. And we know that Josh Shapiro was very quiet on the economy under President Joe Biden. But now it seems like Trump's to blame. Just want to get your reaction to that.
Well, that's what I was just going to point out. Where was Governor Shapiro, and where was this concern for the American people's pocketbooks under the previous administration when inflation was a record high 9%? The American public has not seen inflation that high since Jimmy Carter was sitting in the big, beautiful building behind me. It was an economic mess. It was a disaster. You look at energy policies like the Green New Scam, which Joe Biden and Josh Shapiro supported, which hurt our energy industry in Pennsylvania. President Trump has done away with all of that, which is leading to more job growth in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In fact, U.S. Steel just announced that they're going to be hiring another 400 American workers, in large part because they have confidence that under this president, they can invest here, they can grow here, because he is unleashing American energy dominance again. So not only is that bringing down the cost of energy, which we know is the #1 driver of inflation, and inflation has fallen too, we also know that this president's economic policies is creating jobs. Look at the Trump accounts. That's another thing that President Trump has unveiled that Democrats somehow are against, putting $1,000 in the account of every newborn child whose parents wish to create this fund for them. By the time that child is 18 or 20 years old, they could have upwards of 6 figures sitting in that account. This is a great initiative, and Democrats just reject everything that President Trump does, no matter how good it is, no matter how good it sounds. But that's not going to stop President Trump from going around the country, touting his accomplishments, and reassuring the American public that, yes, the best is yet to come.
White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt on Newsmax, and our White House correspondent Mike Carter, traveling with the president, hit the streets to speak with some Pennsylvanians.
President Trump has addressed a lot of my concerns, brought the price of gas down. No two ways about it.
When it comes to the economy, how would you grade his job performance?
Fantastic.
Confident that the tariff policies are working?
Yes.
How's the Trump economy treating you?
It's doing fine. It's been rough under Biden. Things don't happen overnight. I mean, it takes time. It took time to bring it down. It's going to take time to bring it back up again.
I think the tariff policies will come into effect and start to work because it's going to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. It's going to help stable the middle class and rebuild the middle class.
Tourism is very important here, and there's a lot of people that work in the service industry. I am the owner of an Italian restaurant, and I'm glad that my employees will have the benefit of no tax on tips.
According to the most recent Reuters Ipsos poll, 41% of Americans approve of the president and the job that he's doing. While that is lower than several months ago, it is a 3% increase from last month's poll. And the higher his approval rating is, the better it could be for Republicans going into next year's midterm elections. So they'll be paying maybe even a little bit closer attention to some of the polling as we get into next year. For more on the Trump administration economy, we go to a segment of Frontline with Carl Higbie.
Everybody wants affordability on both sides of the aisle, but you have to examine what policies make things more or less affordable. Let's look at something simple. The highest and lowest cost states to live in. Here we go. California, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Washington, D.C. All weird Democrat-run states and the highest cost to live in. Who saw that coming? And look at the lowest cost of living. Oklahoma, Kansas, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, and Texas. Weird. What does that also look like? Yeah, those states all voted red. They all voted for Trump. And the more affordable states seem to be very closely mirroring the red states you see here. I mean, strange, right? So Democrats might tell you that they're for affordability, but in practice, they make nothing more affordable. The irony of this issue, though, while Democrats rage against the fact that, pick what, broccoli or something may go up in price since Trump took office, things like eggs are actually pretty much half of what they were under Biden, and we don't hear a peep from them on that. But in fact, under Trump's economy, the so-called real wages did and are, again, increasing faster than the broccoli or whatever else for most other items they cite too. I mean, look at this, 2015. Those real wages are declining into Trump's presidency, okay? January, and not until January of 2017, he takes office, and then they start rising consistently for 4 years until 2020. Oh, look, they dip dramatically. They rebound slightly only once Republicans take control of Congress and rein in his radical spending. I mean, like, there is a pattern here. Trump up, Biden down. Trump Republican, Biden Democrat. Like, Trump understands the economy probably better than anyone since Reagan. Probably how he became a billionaire.
As I mentioned in the open, the president spoke about the economy and, as you would expect, a lot of other things.
Remember, every boat that gets hit, we don't want to do that, but every boat that gets hit, we save 25,000 American lives. Every boat. And when you view it that way, you don't mind. But we have that same system aimed at Somalia, and if they go and want to raid our ships, and not our ships, worldwide shipping, you know, they used to go and take the ships. When one or two of them get hit, they say, we'll pass. So we've cut down drugs, 94% coming in from sea. 94, right? 94%, Muser. 94%, Muser. That's pretty good. We're trying to figure out who the hell are the other 6%. They're finding it very hard to get people to navigate those waters. The problem is nobody wants to go fishing anymore either. They don't want to get in boats. They don't want anything to do with boats. I think we've destroyed the boat market. Other than that, it's been very effective. We've cut it down 96%. Think of that. And now we're going to do land, because the land is much easier and it's even more prevalent. If you don't share our values, contribute to our economy, and assimilate into our society, then we don't want you in our country. We don't want you.
Those comments coming after national security officials, including Secretary Pete Hegseth, met behind closed doors on Capitol Hill yesterday for a classified briefing on the drug boat strikes in Venezuela, as some members of Congress demand more videos of that strike that killed the two survivors be released.
Whatever we were to decide to release, we'd have to be very responsible about. So we're reviewing that right now.
The focus of what has happened around Venezuela shifted during the briefing to what's going to happen with Venezuela because of the president's repeated comments like that about potentially attacking on land. This is Representative Adam Smith of Washington State, the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee.
Is President Trump's dragging us into a foreign conflict when we have domestic issues that we're supposed to be paying attention to, that we need to be paying attention to? It's directly contrary to the campaign that President Trump ran. And is this really about drugs, or is it about regime change in Venezuela? Are we about to go to war with Venezuela?
And coming up, we'll completely shift gears. Greg Kelly and the Epstein files as we move closer and closer to the deadline written in the bill President Trump signed a few weeks ago. But first, cybersecurity. Why not give a loved one or a friend the gift of peace of mind this holiday season? You could be a hero, and you could do it starting at less than $20 thanks to Webroot. Cybersecurity is the perfect gift for even the most difficult to shop for person on your list, or even for yourself, with device, identity, and privacy protection covered under one subscription. Webroot Total Protection has real-time antivirus protection against all emerging threats like ransomware, malware, text scams, phishing scams, and more. Password Manager to protect logins and passwords, up to $1 million in expense reimbursement for stolen funds and out-of-pocket costs due to identity theft. Advanced dark web monitoring, VPN. You gotta have the VPN that hides your IP address and location from the hackers. Family protection plans include toddlers, students, and seniors. So get protected from cybercrime this holiday season with a huge 60% off Webroot Total Protection, only at webroot.com/Newsmax. 60% off for a limited time at webroot.com/Newsmax. It's a great gift that your loved one or friend would certainly appreciate. Webroot.com/Newsmax. Webroot.com/Newsmax. 60% off. Live a better digital life with Webroot. And back to the news. Like I was saying, as Congress pushes for more videos on the drug boat strike last week, Democrats in Congress released a new video of the private island where Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell exploited dozens, if not hundreds, of women and young girls. The bill that Congress passed and President Trump signed a couple of weeks ago, the Epstein Transparency Act, requires that the Justice Department release all the records within 30 days. There are now less than 2 weeks to go on that requirement, and one of those 2 weeks is Christmas week. Yesterday, a judge granted the release of Ghislaine Maxwell's grand jury documents. This is Greg Kelly, host of Greg Kelly Reports.
Oh boy, more files! Epstein files. I guess a judge has green-lit the new Ghislaine Maxwell documents. I'm telling you, folks, this is all a great big scam. Yes, it is. I'm not too excited about these files, just like I didn't get excited, unlike a lot of my friends, about the old files. Remember this? Shortly after President Trump took office, we got these big documents full of not much, because this Epstein matter, as far as we're concerned, is a scam. An absolute, total, fake news Democrat scam. He was a bad guy. He did some bad things. But for us to be obsessed with it and for the fake news to be badgering the Trump administration day in and day out about this stuff, well, a little bit how we got here, okay? The judge who ordered that these documents, previously they treated this stuff as, really sensitive. You can't release grand jury and all that stuff. Judge Allison Nathan, looks like a little peculiar dude there, appointed by Obama to the district court and then promoted by Biden to the Court of Appeals. This individual, I honestly don't know. Gentlemen, ma'am, made the decision. Okay. And so what do we have here? We have the fake news, another excuse for them to link Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. This is all bogus. It reminds me, quite frankly, of the whole Stormy Daniels thing, right? Now, the only reason there was a case to be made against President Trump was because of this picture. Oh, MAGA, they're going to get so nervous when they hear that a porn star, he stood next to a porn star. They don't know MAGA. They don't know us. We were not perturbed, were we?
That is Greg Kelly, and you can watch Greg Kelly Reports. You must watch Greg Kelly Reports, 9 o'clock Eastern tonight and every night. You know, there's a whole separate investigation going on now about the alleged preferred treatment that Ghislaine Maxwell is getting in prison after she was transferred from a maximum security hardcore prison to a more cushy place. I totally support that investigation, by the way. And Ghislaine Maxwell should never, ever get any kind of a pardon or reduced sentence. She is as terrible of a human being as Jeffrey Epstein, if not worse. Following Monday's roundtable discussion with farmers, President Trump is hosting another roundtable focused on the economy at the White House today. And what do you think about this? Check this out. Kids under 16 years old are being banned from social media in Australia. Their government says the ban will protect young people's mental health, citing social media research on things like bullying and body image issues. This is Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
This reform will change lives for Australian kids and allowing them to just have their childhood. For Australian parents, enabling them to have greater peace of mind.
So that is pretty wild. We'll see what happens there. I imagine social media companies, although it's only one country, but I would imagine social media companies are not going to like that. On Wall Street, stocks opened in the red this morning, slightly lower ahead of today's expected interest rate cut from the Fed. And again, we have to hope that Fed Chairman Jerome Profit Killer Powell doesn't make any unnecessary contrarian remarks and squash the good news as he often does, assuming there is good news. As I said yesterday, if there is no interest rate cut, the market will tank. And maybe for some reason, if he goes with a 0.5 point interest rate cut instead of the expected 1/4 point, the markets would surge. Elon Musk's space company SpaceX is finally moving forward with its IPO, initial public offering. I've said this before, but I'm really surprised, shocked that it's taken this long for SpaceX to go public. And Uber says it's going to begin installing kiosks at airports for booking rides without using the app, which sometimes could be a problem for international travelers or if your phone is low on juice, etc. All right, be sure to keep up with another busy day of news and any breaking developments on Newsmax N2 and at Newsmax.com, where it all started many years ago. The news starts each and every morning, 6 o'clock Eastern, with Alex Kramer on Wake Up America Early Edition. I'm Tony Marino. Enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget, tonight's Powerball is nearly $1 billion. So you may want to grab a ticket or two. Pay attention and keep on fighting the good fight.
News breaks every minute, every day. You need the app, the Newsmax app. Find it free on your smartphone store. Then watch us anytime, anywhere.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.